Hi guys, ArchieLuxury, and who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? David SW, David SW, David SW. Go to davidsw.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. David SW, David SW, David SW.
Quickly. I was just going to say to you there, we're going to charge for advice $50. I had someone who came to me, right, for advice. Right? It's often easier to give advice when you don't know him personally or don't know his wife. You can give advice. This guy wrote to me and said that what happened was, listen to this, I'll give you a sample bit of advice. So basically what happened to this guy is he married this woman. He's Asian, right? I think he's Chinese, she's Korean or something, right? And what happened was the parents didn't have a lot of money because they came to America when midway, you know. And what happened was they want to go for retirement, so they said, look, we'll sell our house, clear our debts, we'll give you some money and we'll live off the rest of the money. And you can buy a bigger house. Does that make sense?
It's quite common to do that.
Okay, so anyhow, he did that, right? So the parents are living there with him, like they got a little granny flat and that. It's all good. He said it's okay. He's quite happy. He's content. But what the problem was, his wife's sister, she met this guy and they weren't doing as well as him and his wife. And sometimes the parents would stay at the sister's place and the sister would contact the other sister and say, look, they're staying here, I want some money. Because you got, I think he got 60,000 to buy a bigger house because they lived there. And then the sister hits him up and says, they're staying here this week, I want you to cough in. And what basically happened with this guy was his wife behind his back was giving his sister some money and the parents didn't, it was just a mess. You understand? And he basically said to me, he said if he had his time again, he'd tell them, don't stay here. You keep your money, I keep my house, you just piss off. You know, don't come here. Because so I gave him some advice. My advice to him was, I said, look, you firstly got to have a talk to your wife and tell her we've got to do things together. You can't just have separate agendas. So that's not going to work. If you've got separate agendas, you've got to have the same goal. If you haven't got the same goal, it's going to fail. That's what I said to him. And I said, then after your wife's on board, you got to have a meeting with the wife and her parents and say, look, your sister is trying to hit me up for money. Every time you stay there, I got to fork in money. This is ridiculous. The deal is you gave me 60,000. I put on this here for you. If you're going to stay there, you need to sort this shit out with them, not come to me. They want me to pay for your fees. It's just like I agreed to let you stay in my place because you coughed some money in. But if you wanted to go on a cruise ship, I'm not liable to pay for the cruise ship. That's a deal you have to sort out yourself. So anyhow, he went and said this to, he was quite good about it. It all worked out quite well. The parents didn't know and they've kind of fixed it up a bit. But there are many problems people have where it's good to have another perspective. So I'm sure you can give good advice. You're good at the advice. And let's give it a shot then. What do you think? $50, 50 US? For advice. Just simple advice. Just very quick, simple advice.
And it's not much for the person to pay that. And yet it gives them a second opinion of what they should do.
And I mean, you've been an accountant. You've given a lot of clients. You had all sorts of clients that come through your doors for 40 years. How long were you accountant for? 40, since 80, weren't you?
A long time,
40 years.
For 40 years.
40 years, geez, that's
banking for 15, 20,
40 years advice.
Some overlap.
So that you can give advice, and then you can it just gives a perspective. Let's see what we can get going there. Have you seen that other thing? over 50 TV. Did you see that guy? He talks about employment and that there. Did you ever see?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay, no. He's got a good channel there. I like his ideas. He's very over 50s. It's a scary world. What do you think for you? Are you like with the internet?
No,
you never had internet when you were.
It's a very scary world, and everything sort of it's getting hard. For instance, you know, in the orchestra, everybody wants to get paid by APPSTANTIATE. You know, by.
Oh, okay. They don't do checks anymore.
Well, we do have checks, but everybody wants it paid in advance or paid through the email. You know, by APPSTANTIATE. But the trouble is, in clubs and that, you can't have one person just transferring. People do, but it's wrong. You have to have control by two people.
Oh, so how do you do that?
Well, we just do checks at the moment, but some people don't. You know, like for instance, Telstra and that, or Optus won't accept checks, will they? That you just got to pay. So I suppose what you do,
you're right.
You can write a check out back into your own account, and then
but then it becomes tricky and convoluted, doesn't it?
And then it's have you been pinching money or whatever. So that's the thing. And then, you know, just like, you know, the other day, sending resumes. Well, how do you attach things? If you didn't grow up in that, that's not part of you. You just think, oh, that's too hard. I don't need to know. And really, you do need to know. You know.
But
this gets and everything. Then they want this and they want that. And you know, I was going to get a quote for my stairs the other day. So I went on the computer, on the internet. I said, please give me a quote, you know, or come out and see me. And they say, oh, we don't come out and see you. We just want you to send send a photo, measure it, and send a photo of the area. Yeah. Well, how do I send the photo?
Sure.
You know, if you're not sure how you attach them, so I think
I can help you do that if you need a hand.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that. But you know, you're supposed to know yourself, and you get stuck like this all the time, and it's just every day.
Sure.
So I've got to learn how to attach. You know, which I'm, you know.
Sure.
And all these things in my day, you added things in your head and you work things out, and it was a different way of doing things. You didn't have computers. Computers, if you did have computers, there were twin floppies, and you had to. It was very, very cumbersome.
It's a very different world, isn't it?
Yeah, and now they almost talk to you. It's hard.
It is.
People in my era, some adapt very well. I mean, some are really, you know, like in the orchestra, some of the ladies, especially ones who could, you know, teachers who typed and that sort of stuff, they're very good at doing that. But others, we're just useless, you know. And then you say to yourself, do you really want to learn? Well, you say, yes, I do. Well, where do you go?
Yeah.
Where do you go to learn these things? I don't know. You know, I suppose you've got to teach yourself.
Yeah, they don't really have that.
They don't have classes where they say, right, old fellas, come here, we'll teach you how to do A, B, and C. Although I did see there's a group where you get into it, you know, you join, and then people come out to your place and spend 4 hours with you, telling you how to use certain things on the computer. There's people that do that for older people.
Yeah, that's difficult. It can be very difficult.
Yeah.
A lot of people just walk away. Oh, this is just too hard.
Yeah, it's just too hard. I don't need to know, and that just.
Well, they do and they don't. No, you don't have to.
And I I was just thinking, just had a flash there, just like my parents. You know, they came and they thought, oh, I don't need to learn English. You know, I don't need to learn how to write that in English, and yet they did. You know, when my father was 30 in England, it would have been good if he did know how to learn. He started learning or learn music. He was good at music. He said, I don't need to learn my music, but he could.
Mind you, the problem in life is that it's so, you've gone through so much bullshit already.
Yeah.
You just can't,
and
you're just sick of it.
You got to work, you work long hours to get the money, you got the kids, you haven't got the extra time to do these extra things, yeah.
Yeah, it is very, the technology has kind of sneaked up. You know what I mean? It's sneaked up.
Yeah.
It's sneaked in. It's
just from 20 or 30 years, or say 20 years ago, it's a different world. Completely different world. You know, when you started on computers, I mean, what type of computers did people have? They were very basic.
Well, this is the thing.
Software was ratchet.
The thing is that the computers from then, they're not as powerful as your iPhone.
then,
your iPhone is more
powerful. Yeah.
That makes the computer from then look like rubbish.
Yeah. Well, remember that DAC Easy thing?
Yeah.
I tried about 3 or 4 times to start that thing up. Never worked.
Yeah. That.
You had to set up the parameters. And if you see the parameters,
but still, let's be honest there, okay? Yeah. Most people who use MYOB or QuickBooks, right, they don't understand double entry accounting. They still get into horrendous problems because they don't understand some debit, a credit, what is a liability, they have no idea what they're really doing. Right. Yeah. They know how to do they know how to print an invoice, which is probably the most important thing. But most people don't do double entry.
And nothing else.
And the accounting systems still do double entry, you know that?
Yeah.
Because double entry accounting, you can find a mistake. You can't do that in a cash book, which is single entry. You wouldn't find the mistake. No. It always balances. Yeah. Doesn't it? Yeah,
it does. It has to balance. The bank account has to balance with the transactions. Yeah.
It's I don't know if it's necessarily a good world or a bad world. You know, like the nasty thing is, you know, you do now if you ask them to send you a bill in the paper, they want $3 more a month.
You do, yeah.
This never came out. They said, we'll email it to you for convenience. Now they're saying if you don't email it, we'll charge you a processing fee.
That's right. Yeah.
It's horrendous, really.
I remember working in Vinnie's, and they got a computer system there where you have 40 transactions a month, you know, of what they put through. They buy stuff from Woolworths and they make a few purchases. It took them a day to balance that thing. Yes. Even 2 days. You know, they had no idea how to balance that thing and how the system worked. And you did this and try this, and you know, it's been hours and hours. And then you know, anybody came new, they said, here, you try it. Well,
it's going to stuff it up even more.
More, And then and then you had people who, you know, like somebody like wrote a check out for $10. And then they change it to 20. The client changes to 20, which is fraud, but they change to 20. And then they're arguing about, we can't do that, we can't do this, so it doesn't balance.
But you end up spending more than $10 in time that you could have spent somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Tell them that. No, they don't listen. They're not interested. And actually, a lot of people get very pedantic on principle. This is a principle. You got to stick to this, you know. They can't say, look, forget about this. Right here, like for instance, in Vinnie, some person changed a check from $100 to $200.
Yeah.
All right. It's shocking. But all the people that come there, they're all shocking. They're all going to jail or coming out of jail.
What do you expect?
They're all like that. They've all got criminal convictions. And this is $100. Well, forget it. No. Refer it to the police. The person goes to jail for 6 months. Because there's other offences too, but for $100, send them to jail.
Yeah, but they see it differently.
They think, what's wrong? You know, well, but that's their perspective.
Black and white,
that's how they see it. Yeah, and for me, I just think, well, forget about it. Just fix it. Change it to 200 and move ahead. Yeah. You know, don't worry about it.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. Okay, we'll give it a shot then. We'll try it. We'll see how we go. Okay, that might be the best way.
Feeling me, all these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. Feeling me, all these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. Feeling me, all these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. Feeling me, all these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck just wanna be a mini me. All these neck.
Like, subscribe, and tell your friends, and don't be afraid to get a paid review. $50 for a paid review. It helps me stay full-time on YouTube, and I will see you in the next one. $50 paid review. I can't survive on Google Ads. I need your support. And guys, you could also sponsor me on Patreon. Patreon allows you to pay as little as $1 a month to keep me on YouTube. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury. Who do I recommend for watches in Brisbane and Sydney? Vintage Watch Co. That's correct. Vintage Watch Co. in Brisbane Arcade in Brisbane and the Strand Arcade in Sydney. Vintage Watch Co. Brisbane and Sydney. Ronnie, I've known him since the late 90s. Ronnie is a top bloke. Luke is a great guy. Vintage Watch Co. That is who I recommend in Australia. Check out Vintage Watch Co. and the guys' amazing range of watches. They also do service and repairs. Vintage Watch Co. That is where the Pontiff goes. You know, some of my Pateks came from Vintage Watch Co. That's right, guys. Vintage Watch Co.